What's going on, Show Nation? It's Movie with Movie Gaming TV. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you guys could drop a like or a thumbs up on this video if you guys liked it, I would really appreciate that as well. It would really help me out. Hit the subscription button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our MLB The Show 20 content that's going to be on the channel. I hope you guys are having an absolutely great day, and thank you guys so much for watching my videos. What's going on, Show Nation? It's Movie with Movie Gaming TV, and in today's video, I want to give you guys my top 10 starting pitchers. One of the most frequently asked questions I get over on my stream is, who is your starting rotation? Who's in your starting rotation? So today, I thought I would give you guys my current top 10 starting pitchers if you're curious about which starting pitchers you should be using on your Diamond Dynasty team. We've got 3 players that come in outside of the top 10 that are honorable mentions. The first one is Orel Hershiser. He's not going to cost you a lot of stubs to get. He's got the sinker, the cutter, the curveball, the changeup, and the four-seam fastball. 77, 81, H per 9, and K per 9. Orel's just one of the good ones. Always just been one of the good ones. Anybody that's got the sinker, the cutter, just his pitch set, his motion altogether, he's one of the best pitchers in the game. Even as a gold, he's just very, very solid starting pitcher. I highly recommend going after him. Another honorable mention that we have is Casey Mize. Some people might have him higher in their list. Four-seam fastball, a cutter, a splitter, a slurve, and a sink. I'm just not too high on him because his best pitch is the four-seam fastball. I wish it was the sinker instead of the four-seam fastball personally. His motion is okay. I'm just not a huge fan in particular of using this card. I tried it out for a little bit before selling it back. Our next honorable mention is Roy Oswalt. He comes in at the number 11 spot. He could be honestly higher on this list, to be honest with you, especially if you went ahead and got the Ruby version of him. His H per 9 is 74, his K per 9 is 85. He does have the sink, the 12-6, the slider, and the changeup. He's not bad. He probably should be higher on my list, but I just find him kind of easy to pick up when I'm hitting against him, so I have him down here. But this is definitely a really, really good pitcher. Now at the number 10 spot, I haven't tried this card much either, Jesus Luzardo. So I think he could be kind of in that range of Orel Hershiser, Casey Mize, all that kind of stuff. He does have the sinker as one of his primary pitches, but having the curveball as your main pitch is not, it's just not ideal. So in the number 10 spot, we have, where is it? We have King Felix from the event. I like this card a lot. The sinker, the SCV, the changeup, the four-seam fastball, and the slider. I think he's a really effective pitcher. Anybody that's got the sinker first is really effective. He's got a really, really good windup that's very effective. You can throw a lot of strikes all over the place with this card. I have a debut of him on my channel as well, as if you'd like to see him in action before you try him out. He's very, very solid. In the number 9 spot, I am going to go with Chris Sale. Chris Sale has just a four-seam, a slider, and a changeup, but they're all really effective. You guys can see it also has 95 control. He's one of the easiest players to control in this game, pitching wise. He just really hits a spot. If you're having trouble hitting the meter and then hitting the hoop, I'd recommend going with Chris Sale. He's got a really, really good motion, either from the windup or the stretch. It's difficult to pick up as well, so I'm a big fan of Chris Sale. If his H per 9 was higher, he'd be absolutely incredible. But one of my favorite pitchers always to use in Diamond Dynasty. Next, at the number 8 spot, we have Greg Maddux. He's got the sinker, the circle, the cutter, the four-seam, the curveball. I'm interested to see what his eventual amazing card will be. I'm not sure if that card will have the sinker, but this one does. This is kind of like an Orel Hershiser boosted up. He's got a really good motion. He's got a really good stretch. 83, 76, 88. He's got good control. He's got a good pitch set, so this makes him one of the better pitchers in Diamond Dynasty for sure, and he comes in at our number 8 spot. At our number 7 spot, we have Max Scherzer. Max has four-seam fastball, a slider, a changeup, a curveball, and a cutter. I absolutely love his windup. Out of the stretch, I'm not as big of a fan, but he does have a better stretch kind of if you use like strike zone view to pitch. I personally have been using a lot of pitcher offset, so I'm not the biggest fan of him out of the stretch. But he does have 91, 99, which is good H per 9 and K per 9 right now for a starting pitcher in Diamond Dynasty. So I'm a big fan of Max Scherzer, and he comes in at our number 7 spot. Now, number 6 is actually a card I haven't used But this is a card that's super popular right now in the competitive community. The four-seam, the slider, the curveball, the changeup. From what I can tell, he's really good out of the stretch as well. And it's Nate Pearson, excuse me. 96, 92, throws absolute gas. You can see he's got the 99-mile-an-hour fastball. He actually has a really fast slider, and he has a curveball and a changeup, which take a lot of, there's a big speed differential there. 99 velo, 97 break. I imagine a lot of that break would be on the slider. So I think he's an absolute beast. He's gonna come in at our number 6 spot for this list. At our number, let's see here, at our number 5 spot. And this is pretty much my personal rotation right now. And for the most part, I shouldn't have too much trouble getting whatever card I need as a content creator. But these are my guys that I have in my rotation right now. And that's why I put them honestly at the 1 through 5 spots. Number 5, we have Michael Kopech. 4-seam fastball, a slider, a changeup, a curveball, and a 2-seam fastball. Throws absolute gas. Has the outlier quirk, which means his primary pitch exceeds max velocity limit, so he throws really fast. His fastball goes really fast. His windup is not too bad, absolutely elite out of the stretch. Has a very it doesn't take you, if you use analog pitching, it doesn't take much to go down to the line and back up to the hoop with Michael Kopech. He's absolutely he's very good, throws very fast. One of the best pitchers in Diamond Dynasty. One of the problems is he only has 84 stamina, so he can't pitch forever, but he's going to be a really good starting pitcher, or if you need to take him out of the bullpen late in the game, maybe you're using more of a finesse guy early in the game and you want to switch and start to use a starting pitcher that has a lot more speed to kind of throw off their timing. Michael Kopech is definitely a very good card in that regard. Number 4, we have Blake Snell, 88-100. Throws a 4-seam fastball, a curveball, a changeup, and a slider. You can get this card for free by going through the team affinities for the Rays. He is very dominant. That his motion is great. It's what I call a 4-second motion, and what I mean by that is you don't have to pull down very far on the right analog stick to pitch with him out of analog. He doesn't have like a super long motion or anything like that. It's a very compact, very easy to use motion online. The 4-seam fastball is really quick. He's got the curveball, the changeup, and the slider, which is a good pitch set to all combo together off one another. His control and his BB per 9, really honestly, I feel like he controls better than those say right there. And that fastball, the 88 and 100, H49 and K per 9 are very good right now in Diamond Dynasty for a starting pitcher. He also has a quote-unquote glitched release where it's very difficult to pick up the ball out of his hand, which is one of the main things that you're going to want to do when you're hitting. You know, you always want to pick up the ball out of the pitcher's hand, especially the first couple feet after it leaves the pitcher's hand. You need to start recognizing spin and speed. And when I say spin, I really mean kind of like the flight of the ball. You want to see if it's going straight, if is it breaking in, is it breaking out, does it look like it's going to drop like a curveball or a changeup. So Blake Snell, very difficult to do that off this card. Very effective to use him. At the number 3 spot, we have Shohei Ohtani, another free card that you can get from Team Affinity. 4-seam fastball, slider, splitter, and a curveball. Now, I had somebody in my chat last night saying that they couldn't control the curveball. If you guys don't know how control works in this game, basically the pitcher generally will control their top pitch the best, their second pitch the second best, the splitter the third best, and their last pitch the last best. That's kind of one of the reasons I don't like Casey Mize, is because the sinker is his 5th best pitch. It's not like one of his better pitches. What makes Shohei Ohtani so hard to hit is really the 4-seam fastball and the splitter. If you throw a lot of 4-seam fastballs up in the zone and then you throw the splitter, they come in at the same trajectory. Remember I was talking about how you want to read the ball out of the pitcher's hand and then try to guess what the spin is? That's what makes him so difficult, is that 4-seam and splitter look exactly the same coming out of the hand, except for one drops and goes a lot slower and one goes really fast. So it's very difficult to hit off him. The slider is another really devastating pitch, and the curveball you can use about 5% of the time to get him to chase in the dirt. So it's a really effective pitch to use as well, but you just don't want to use that curveball too often. It's really like, all right, it's 1 and 2. You've been hitting them with the 4-seam, the slider, and the splitter, and you just you can't get him out, so let's throw a curveball in the dirt to shake it up, and just pretty much you're gonna get him to swing early and miss it completely. That's how you're gonna use the curveball. You're not like trying to spot the curveball for strikes or anything like that. You're gonna be doing that with the four seam, the slider, and the splitter. So he throws absolute gas, pretty good out of he throws out of the stretch for both of his motions. They're a little bit different if no one's on base. If he had his stretch all the time, just that one stretch, he'd be way higher on the list. Like, it's just such an effective stretch. When people get on versus this card, it's going to be very difficult to score. You do not have to pull down far on the analog meter at all to go back up to the hoop. This is a really, really, really effective motion. This would be actually a good motion to have on a creative pitcher. He also has 86 contact versus right, 87 power versus right, 74 56 with 50 vision, so he can absolutely hit as well, which is huge in Diamond Dynasty. Usually going to take a starting pitcher about 3 to 5 innings in a game of ranked season, so he's going to have at least 2 solid at bats for you. And this is also another really good card to bring out of your bullpen late in the game if you need to shut the game down. Ohtani could really do that for you. Only has 88 stamina, which isn't a ton, so he might get more tired more often, but still an extremely solid card. The number 2 spot, we have Forrest Whitley, and basically I really like Forrest Whitley a lot in this game. His pitch set is absolutely elite. What I mean by that is he has a sinker, a changeup, a slider, a 12-6 curve, and a cutter. He has basically all of my favorite pitches in the game. His primary pitch is his sinker. He has the changeup, he has the slider, he has the 12-6, which I like to use, how we talked about, with how we just talked about using that pitch with Shohei Ohtani. Some of the curveballs, they kind of break at an angle. That 12-6 just goes up and down, which I really like a lot. He also has the cutter, so you can use the sinker on the inside. Let's say where you got a right-handed batter, you can use the sinker in on the hands. So you can use the slider low in the way. He can use the cutter low and away but up to get him to roll over. He can use the cutter on the inside part of the hands. He can use the 12-6 to drop it off, below the zone. He can use the changeup low and inside that looks like it's going to be the sinker, but it's a changeup low and inside and get him to a chase. He can use that cutter against left-handed batters and throw it in on their hands. He can use that sinker. He's just amazing. He's got a 4-second release, so he's really easy to pitch from that regard as well. His H per 9, K per 9, if he had like above H per 9, like let's say like 90 plus, he'd be just as good as he'd be pretty much the same as Kluber. He's 6'7", so he's really tall, so he's kind of got like a difficult release point to pick up. His stretch is really good. This is one of my, every time that he's got energy and is ready to pitch, I'm really excited to use Forrest Whitley. And again, I do have a video on my channel debuting him in a way, so if you want to see him in action, be sure to check that out. Now, at our number 1 spot, we have, this should come as no surprise, Corey Kluber, the best pitcher in the game right now. Sinker, the slurve, the cutter, the 4-seam fastball, and the changeup. 109 stamina, so he's really recovering stamina a lot. He can pitch a lot for you. 103, 105, 99 or 95 BB per 9. Good control. I'm getting more used to his motion. His motion is not that bad. He's just absolutely dominant, especially with people having low PCI size right now. That 103, 105 is going to make your PCI microscopic. He's going to be excellent on Legend. What are his advanced? Let's see what his stats are for me right now. I'm 22-2 using this card. He's got 55 strikeouts and only 2 walks, which is insane. I didn't even realize, and these are online stats too. I did not even realize it was like that. That's crazy. But he's absolutely ridiculously good. You could use him honestly as a closer for almost every game. You probably have the stamina to do that, or you can use him as a starter when you need a win. He's an absolute ace in the rotation right now, an absolute beast. One of my favorite cards. I really like Corey Kluber, and I really like Rolly. Make sure you guys take them out of that level 80 pack. These are the 2 cards you're definitely gonna want to take. Rolly could legit be in your bullpen all year. He's got the control, he's got everything you want. You guys can see he's got the sinker, the slider, and probably one of the hardest pitches to hit in this game, especially up on the top levels, is his forkball, because it's so much slower than those other pitches. You have to respect the sinker, so you'll almost always be in front of the forkball. That's why Rolly's really good. But so I just wanted to say that about that level 80 pack. Make sure you guys take those 2. Now, there might be one pitcher you're thinking about, where the heck is Hal Neuheiser? I am not a fan of Hal Neuheiser at all. If you guys played last year's game, there's a pitcher for the A's, the Philadelphia A's. He's a legend, Lefty Grove. They almost have the exact same motion, and I just can't rock with that motion. I'm going to be all over the place with it. I don't like it. I don't like his pitch set. I'm not a fan of that card at all. Eventually, I will take it because, you know, it's a free card, and I don't want duplicates out of that pack. But right now, I'm not high on that card at all. I'd much rather pitch with the guys that I have. Even if I had Hal, I probably would not have him in my starting rotation. Just not a fan of that card at all. If you are a fan of that card and it's working for you, I mean, go all speed ahead, go for it. But that's just kind of my own personal, you know, this is my own personal top 10. This is my own personal recommendation. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If this video helped you out, or if you wanted to know, you know, which starting pitchers to go after, drop a like on this video. Let me know how Drew Pearson has been for you as well. A lot of people have been asking me Drew Pearson versus Casey Mize. I'd like to try that Drew Pearson out to give you guys more information about him. And thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.